Oh, sorry about the delay. Hi, intrepid viewers. Good to see you. Trendsetters everywhere. Good to have you on board. Now, I want to have a quick look today at some governor races that are coming up in a couple of days. But also, we've got the unfolding of the Game of Thrones stuff going on with the Trump family. We'll have to have a little looky at that. Okay, other things. So, DeSantis. Never thought I'd agree with a sentence out of DeSantis's mouth. Did you? No. But what he said was, if Trump found the balls to actually debate, he would wear a boot on his head, right? At least he said it. He threw it out there. And Chris Christie said in different contexts, he's too scared to face me like a man. Now, while there's all this Neanderthal macho posturing going on with both these things, I think politically it is smart to start calling the Yeti a coward. It will really get up his right nostril. I think it's a good tactic to take, and there needs to be more of it, in my humble opinion. Okay, so I'm going to start. Leo Leonard, you remember that name? It's one of those names, hard to forget, isn't it? He's a big donor. Harlan Crow, big donor. Now, they're being subpoenaed by the Dems for having undue influence on the Supreme Court. Well, long overdue. Let's have a look. Looking at the financial grubbiness, we know who we're all talking about, entertainment purposes only, Clarence. He's not the only one, of course, but he's the most flagrant. So let's have a look. Will the Dems have success in pursuing this? I think it's Senator Whitehouse has spent 2-3 years, maybe more, looking at the relationship between big money and the Supreme Court. Let's have a look at that issue. Big money in the Supreme Court. Let's call it bribery. Let's call it what it is. I mean, if you're on a Supreme Court salary, I think you can afford your own holidays, pet. I think you can afford to put your own nephew through college. Maybe it's just me. Let's have a look. Okay. I don't know what to do. Oh, this is very interesting. More interesting than I expected. Okay, in the middle, Five of Wands, people going round in circles. It's an endless fight. No one wins, nothing happening. It's at the center because that's business as usual, right? It's like the Republicans blocking everything and so on. Famously, in Australian slang, the argy-bargy card, right? Okay. So that's in the center. It's been talked about for a long time, but nothing's happened. And I went, but they're now at a crossroads because it's got so blatant. They're at a crossroads, and that might mean finally there's enough out of whoever has to make these decisions. Will this inquiry be funded? Will it go ahead? Will it be successful? All that. The numbers are gaining. More people have realized people have lost trust in the Supreme Court because of this bad behavior and their unpopular rulings. So it's moving. They're exploring the secret agendas, not so secret. We all know about them. You only have to read a few good investigative journalists. But she's holding the scroll here in the sense of going through the procedures, what's happened. But what we're interested in is actually what was happening behind the curtain. While the High Priestess here, I think, is talking about the Supreme Court actual justices. While they're doing this, proclaiming for the country what is going on. There's also this suggestion with the moon here that things haven't been clear for a while. Up until now, because this is right above the argy-bargy card, people have felt their hands are tied. Oh, it's the Supreme Court. We can't really look at people from the Supreme Court. One shouldn't do that. All this politeness has to end. It has to end. And it's a self-imposed politeness. If nothing else, they should be advocating for an ethics committee for the Supreme Court. It's a 200-year omission that there hasn't been one, like really. So until now, their hands have been tied, but as we know, with the Eight of Swords, there's a way through. And there's what I call a through line here. Enough people have now realized there's a way through. Okay? Outcome. I think it's overdue. Big cleanup of the Supreme Court. And with this card alone, the Tower, it could be indicating there's going to be another big, epic scandal that's going to topple the safety that the Supreme Court has always enjoyed of being respected regardless and all that stuff. No. Gone. Gone. Interesting. All right, let's jump in and have a look at Trump.org. So, we've got Ivanka Lucretia Borgia Trump happily saying, it wasn't me, must have been my brothers. I can't remember their names, but, you've got it there in your records, that Ivanka. And then we had Don and Eric, who can't remember anything about anything. Would you want these people to be CEOs of a company when they know nothing about the company? They don't know what it does. They don't know who does the money. They just leave all that to the money guys. Treating the American public like people are stupid. Where did they get that idea? So let's just have a quick dip in, see how the family's traveling. So I'm doing them together. I've done them separately. Now we're doing them together. The Trump family. Is it going to survive as a family? Oh, sorry. How are the family? Oh, my word. Look, if I'd scripted these cards, they couldn't be better. They're being accused of malpractice, no matter how you dress it up, naughty, and doing it for decades, right? This is them with each other this time, this Five of Wands. You take the fall, no, you take the fall, no, you made more money, you take the fall, let's all blame Alan, and McConney, round and round and round. They'll be given some sort of leniency, but in the form that they don't want. They might get to keep something. I hope all Trump gets to keep is his golf clubs. That is my truest prayer, right? But it's something like that, right? Bit of leniency, but justice, if I could pick up the card on this slippery sarong, justice will prevail in this case. It'll be clear cut. They don't even seem to know what case they're going to. They keep behaving like it hasn't been decided that the company is guilty. That has been decided. After a full-blown trial, they don't get that, right? Bizarre, bizarre, bizarre. Now, in the category of too much news, not enough gossip, let's come back to Mike Johnson, right? And I put a call out in the last video. If anyone knows any gossip, because I always think these holier-than-thou types are always hiding something, if not a lot. And I got a lot of replies from you guys. So I think entertainment purposes only. He's so deeply in the closet, he's coming out the other side, like. But more importantly, the mysterious adoption guardianship of a 14-year-old Black young man, then still a child, 14, 25-year-old, really. Won't say anymore. Now, what I'm interested today in is he mysteriously, because now, of course, everyone's looking at everything about Mike Johnson, he doesn't appear to have a bank account or assets. What does that mean? Well, I looked into it and I couldn't work out what it was actually saying, and so I had to have a look. You only have to declare a bank account if there's more than $1,000. And he apparently doesn't have a bank account with more than $1,000 in it. I mean, he would have got paid 2 weeks ago. What's he doing with his money? Who's he paying off? That would be a good. No money, and no assets. And you only have to declare assets worth more than $5,000. So he doesn't own an expensive car. He doesn't own a house. Doesn't own anything. Really, he's in a second-hand camper van. What is going on with the finances of Mike Johnson? Wouldn't you think that'd draw attention to yourself? These people, they think they're above the law, they're above everyone else. Mike Johnson's finances. I'm intrigued. Oh, yeah. I mean, I think you could sum these up by, this is a dumb way to handle this issue. He's brought it on himself. It would have been smarter to declare the house and a couple of cars and have, $26,000 in a bank account. Would have been smarter than doing this. He'll have to defend himself, but I don't think he'll be able to. We've got the Queen of Cups and the Knight of Cups. So we've got the false knight, that'd be him, and the wife. Okay. The wife. So is this putting assets in his wife's name or his son's name or something like that? He wouldn't be the first. But there's all this ambiguity around it. It's all water. It's all very hard to get your hands on stuff, right? But here's the clincher. Wheel of Fortune. His time's up. I think this is just catastrophically stupid. I can't even find enough adjectives for it. But this is saying, you tried it on? No. Mind you, George Santos seemingly has got away with everything for now too, so it'll take years for them to do anything about Mike Johnson, unfortunately. But it's a different ballgame. I think he could, if there is a sex scandal and if there is a financial scandal, it could push him prematurely out of the speakership. We can only get on our knees, like his wife, and hope for something like that. But it's gobsmacking, isn't it? Staggering. Okay. All right. Now, Tommy Tuberville. His parents gave him a cartoon name. So one guy who's holding up 370 armed services promotions and other things. Why? Because the armed services provide abortion options to serving staff. Really, Tommy? Really? You're making a stand, are you, darling? And it's absurd. It makes a mockery of democracy. I think, if nothing else, these last 5, 6 years, I hope, this is my hope, has made Americans really acutely aware that the American democratic experiment of the last 200 years really needs a revisit. You know, when you're brought up and told the greatest country on earth, you know, from the moment your little newborn eyes flash open, people just roll with that and think, even if it's bad, it must still be the best. What are other countries doing? I very rarely get out and out nasty comments or emails, but I got an email from someone saying, what would you know, speaking about American politics, in Australia, you don't have freedom and you don't have this and you don't have that. I think that's part of the mythology that only America is free or something weird. Very weird. Anyway, let's push on. Is there anything anyone can do? Because it's giving the Republicans the screaming memes too, right? This isn't just a Democrat thing. They're really frustrated with him. Is there anything anybody can do about Tommy Tuberville waving the flag, pro-life, and then they never want to feed them once they get to 5 years old? They don't want to provide any early childhood care. They're not interested in providing services for teenagers or young people. It's just this toy argument, this virtue signaling. Pro-life. I think we're all pro-life. It's just, do you really want women to have to go back to coat hangers and backyard abortions and lying to people to try and get the time off from work to try and do it some other way? And I'll just remind everyone, a great many women who have terminations are married women with kids, right? Because they know exactly what's involved. So, Tommy Tuberville. Tommy Tuberville. Okay, let's have a look, Tommy. Oh, he gets lots of stuff. Oh, he wouldn't like this, naked people. Oh, what? Oh, what? Wow. Now, there are several interpretations for this spread, but I think the universe is smiling. We have the lovers who are wickedly naked. Ooh. And the empress is up the duff. Do you say that in America, or is it Australian English slang, up the duff, being pregnant? This is what happens when you have sex. And you shouldn't have sex if you're not married. We all know how that went over the last 300 years. You know, you look at the dates of marriage certificates and the firstborn baby, you know, like, it just drives me insane. Okay, so his fixation on this is actually trapping other people. It's his thing, but it is trapping other people. They've actually had it a bit with him, because it doesn't look good for either party to have one person holding the nation hostage. Okay. I think they're going to try and do something, right? This is the card of compromise. That would probably be something awful, like we will make worse, more criminal sort of penalties for women who have abortions or doctors who perform them, or something else. They're probably some hideous thing they'll try and tempt him with, but something is in the works. So I don't think he'll be able to continue this endlessly. Now, the governor races, Kentucky and Mississippi. So I think I've read recently on Brandon Presley, Mississippi. He's coming close in the polls as a Dem, and they've co-opted that slogan, "Go Brandon." So it's kind of good seeing it with a positive spin. I'll have a quick look at him and then Kentucky. So This is a little update on Brandon Presley. Yes, he is related to Elvis, but only distantly. So they're not pretending, they spend every Thanksgiving together or anything. It's a distant connection. But still there. I wonder if he's any good at karaoke. Anyway, let's have a look. Go, Brandon. Mississippi. Will the Dem get up for governor in Mississippi? Governor of Mississippi. I'm nervous. Oh, all right. Look, juicy. First card, the card of loss. Okay, And I went, Second card, walking away. But they sort of then shift a bit. You've got the Three of Pentacles, which is people working together. You've got the Ten of Cups, the card of happy families. Normally when it's the GOP, it's pretending to be happy families, but in this case, it might be more positive. This is a Hawaiian family in the One World Tarot. Might be. And I think women will vote for him. This is the Queen of Cups here. So if I put it together, I think he's going to come damn close. I don't know if he'll get over the line, but he'll come close. And I think he's still young enough to go again. It reminds me, the energy of this reminds me of Beto O'Rourke, right? Spectacular campaign, went to every town in Texas. And it is rumoured that it was only the old school gerrymandering and stuff that kept him from getting the governorship of Texas. And I believe that. So it's a bit like that. So these red states are getting worried because more sane people are standing. Okay, so who's the other one? In Kentucky, he's already governor. He's the incumbent, Bashir. How will Bashir go in Kentucky? Kentucky needs every Dem it can get. Kentucky. Happening in Kentucky. Okay. I'll explain my T-shirt in a moment too. Okay. Queen of Pentacles, the Tower, the Burden. Very good. Oh, look, it's similar. He has actually a more serious situation here with the Republicans are going all out here to burn his house down, right? He is a burden to them, right? So they're very worried about it. He's still standing. He will live to fight another day with this. But then he gets two queens. Again, the female vote, I think, is so important in these states. Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Wands. There's this energy around that. I'm just going to draw a clarifier because it's a bit frustrating. Let's just see. A yes, no, please. Will Bashir win? Will Bashir win? That's sort of telling us the story, but I want to know, will he win? Okay. I think this is quite good, the Wheel of Fortune. I think time is on his side. And now a Page of Pentacles. I think he'll get the female vote and the youth vote, and I'm hoping it'll be enough with this. Let us hope it'll be enough. Oh, please. Yeah. Okay, guys. Now, I am in Sydney as we speak. So I'm back from Latin America. And I will be going home tomorrow. Okay, I've been on the road for 2 months. So It will be good to see all the friendly faces back home. If you're looking behind me, that really beautiful tapa cloth, it's from Samoa in the Pacific, and it's made from bark. It's really soft, mulberry bark, and this is a family design. So if you know how this imagery works, whether it's tattooing or this sort of printing process, it tells the story of the family. It's really beautiful. I feel a bit guilty that it's up on the wall here. It should be in a museum. It's huge. It's, I think, 8 foot high, doubled. So it's like 16 feet. No, it's massive, absolutely massive. Now, my t-shirt. While talking about the Pacific, haka for life. Now, I'm hoping you guys know what a haka is. So, gridiron comes from rugby, right? Just letting you know, a bit of history, sporting history there. So, in rugby world, the All Blacks, possibly the most famous rugby team in the world, just lost the World Cup by 1 point. But they are famous for doing their haka. If you don't know what a haka is, YouTube All Blacks haka. And it's a really daunting challenge before you go into a game. Exciting. But this movement, Haka for Life, is about heart health for Pacific Islanders, Maori and Pacific Islanders, because it's a big premature killer. And so this is what this movement is about. So I thought I'd give that a plug. Now, if you want a private reading, email me. The email's under the video. And I'll see you soon from my home. So ciao for now, guys. See ya. Look after yourselves. Oh, and if you haven't seen it, just an hour ago, Hogarth, Lady G and I talking. If you want to see Hogarth upset, just say George Santos. And he has a really good rave in there. Okay, take care, guys. Besos.